good evening, good evening, everyone. Welcome to another live edition of 11 from the Past and Future Stuff. I am Amal Wallace, and I got a surprise for you tonight. I have a guest host we're going to introduce, and our guest tonight is going to be off the chain. So we're going to have a live show tonight. But first, let's bring on our guest host, Kay. Coach,
Hey,
Kay.
Hey,
How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
Yes, I'm doing great. Hey, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I think
All
I
right,
just
so,
lost my line and we got to get it back in, but it's good to be here.
I'm glad you accepted the call to be a guest host, man. It's great to have you on. I don't know what's going on. You had light earlier, and now what's
We're
going on?
gonna fix that in just a second.
We're going to fix that? All right, all right. In the meantime, we're going to bring on our guest. What's going on, brother? Welcome to the show.
And what did you like?
How you doing tonight, bruh? Oh, I can't hear you, man. Your mic is gone. Your mic is gone, brother. Let's try to fix your mic.
What about now?
There we
You
go.
got me now?
We got
And
you.
look, everything I just said, you weren't supposed to hear anyway.
We had lights out, volume out. That means it's gonna be a great.
Yeah, but it's about to heat up though. It's about to get hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, listen, bro. I heard about you, man. You're here now, and we're gonna have us a nice time tonight, bro. You deserve your. So, what we do first on 11 from the Past and Future show, we travel down memory lane. Okay, so tell everybody where you were born and raised, bro.
Oh my God. Well, I was born in Annapolis, Maryland, actually, at Maryland General Hospital, the old Maryland General, the one that was downtown. Originally,
you got some age to you, bro.
Yeah, man. I'm 60 years old, so my mother. We're from the Lothian area, right there off of if you know anything about Mount Zion Church, Park Road. We lived there for many years until my mother decided to take us from Lothian up to the Fort Meade area in 1971. So I've laid a lot of tracks from the Fort Meade area, but I still claim Lothian as home. So.
Okay. So now, where did you go to school at down in Lothian, bro?
We did we went to Deal Element. It was a Deal because I went to elementary school in Odenton first, but my preschool was Deal. I think it was Deal Elementary or something like that. I can't remember because Terry's my oldest brother, but he went to Tracy and I think Deal Elementary, something of that nature. But then I moved up to the Severn area, and that way we went to Van Bachlen, MacArthur, Meade High School. Meade High School, and that's where I'm mainly known from, that Meade area.
So you were a true enemy then, bro. A true enemy.
I am a true enemy. I am an absolute enemy.
Hey, now who are some of the guys you looked up to, and what are some of the things you did while growing up?
Well, I always wanted to hang out with Big Brother. Terry Evans is my big brother. So he's the true legend of me, my family, my brothers. What he did, and we just wanted to. I wanted to hang with him, but he always told me two things.
Oh, we're losing you a bit.
No. The other one was go find your own friend. Oh, we're good?
Yeah, Coach Gray. I want
Can
you
you
to
hear
repeat. I want you to repeat what you said, man. We did lose you.
Yeah, that's fine. I saw it go out, but yeah, my big brother is the is my the guy that I wanted to hang with all day, every day. But he told me no and go find my own friends. And that's what I did. So he's the greatest man in my life. However, when you talk about some of the guys that really were influencers, he was the first. Mike Patton, I know you know who he was. Mike Patton came up to the Severn area and changed that whole thing, not just from Annapolis all the way up through Fort Meade and that surrounding area of Meade Village, Severn, Pioneer City, even certain portions of Glen Burnie. So those two guys were the ones that really I saw the influence a lot. Trying to follow my big brother and then watching Mike Patton really organize a lot of us young men and turn us into men. You know, we didn't have a lot of us didn't have that father figure, you know, and he was one of those guys that I don't know how he did it, but a Superman beyond.
So did you play in sports while growing up?
A little, just a little. Baseball, basketball, football, a little track, and I had to stop there because I had no more time. But yeah, mainly basketball and football was the main sports. But I was a baseball lover first. The sport that I loved most was baseball.
Okay. So I like how your brother kind of set the stage for your independence. So basically, he loved you enough to put you out there so that you could be seen and you can be independent. So he didn't want you, he wanted you to follow the foundation, but not necessarily follow him, because then your identity would have been lost in your brother. So I like that he did that.
Exactly. And I'm learning that more in my later years, that he did me a favor. You know,
Yes, he
really
did.
Awesome. So now, do you know Emma Thomas Watkins?
Yeah, yes, I do. I was with her this past weekend. Of course, she was Mike Patton's accomplice.
Yeah.
And that left hand, boy.
We talked earlier.
Oh, did you?
She's family, and I told her, I said, look, you should be on this show more often. So,
oh Lord,
why are you on this show tonight? She said, well, Kenneth is gonna be on the show, so yeah, I'm gonna be on this show. But anyway, Bree, did you go to college?
Yeah, went to Anne Arundel Community College. Right after high school, but I had a lot of folks didn't know I had a bunch of scholarships to North Carolina, Maryland, Central State. I didn't take them because I didn't think I was college ready at that time, and I said I would stay home to junior college to find out what the college life would be like, because it wasn't something that was told to us and taught to us at that time about going off to college. I love to learn. I always was a closet. I was a closet nerd. A lot of people didn't know that, but I was thirsty. I'm still thirsty the same way still today. I love law. I studied some law overseas. But when I went to Anne Arundel, I was playing sports. Just trying to juggle that thing between making money, going to school. I loved the money more than I did school. So I decided, well, I can always go back to school anytime I feel like it, because I just can't go back to high school, but I can go to college anytime I want. So I try to do these things, but also learning. Every time I went somewhere, I learned something, and it's just that knowledge, like you said, that thirst is just crazy. So I did some law classes when I was overseas. I spent 2 years in England. When I was over there, I went back to school to do law in the University of it was actually Chicago, a certain school in Chicago. But I should have come home as a paralegal, but I didn't take one class.
So, I understand. So now before we give way to Coach K, right? Okay. Now, talk about family. Are you married? Do you have any children? Who is
Yes.
Coach Dr. Kenneth Gray? Who are you?
Well, first off, the doctor was bestowed upon me in 2020 as an honorary doctoral degree. Someone saw the work that I've been doing in the community, and it was a humanitarian um, group, and they gave me this honor. I'm thinking, why? Because I would do the same thing with it or without it, but to have that honor to be, you know, a honorary doctoral candidate, I said, okay, who am I? My God, I'm Crystal Medley's son, or Crystal Waller's son, and I represent her each and every day. With the 5 boys that she had, that we still have to walk lockstep in what she expected us to be as men. So mainly, I represent my mother each and every day. But then I was married. I'm divorced now. I have 2 children, a son and a daughter. My daughter's at Morgan State at the moment. Well, as we speak, she's 18. My son is 27, and he's gone back to University of Maryland Global. So for me, I'm just Kenny Chestnut. That name, if you know me, 50 years old. I'm more chestnut than I am anything else in this area from Annapolis. I mean, they don't call me Kenny. They don't call me anything other than chestnut, and that's who I am.
Hey, look, bro. Hey, I'm gonna poke fun at you real quick, man. All right. You said 27, and then you said what? 18. 18, 27.
Didn't I tell you? I said I was a closet geek. I did everything late. My mother always told me you're going to always be late for everything that you do. But she did give me a directive, though. She gave me a directive, and she said, "Go conquer the world."
Yeah.
And I'm looking at her like, "What are you talking about?" She said, "You're not like the rest of my sons. You're different. You're a dreamer. Go conquer this world." I said, "Well, how am I going to do it?" She said, "You'll figure it out." Well, I'm getting close. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm getting close. But, that 27, that 18, look, man, there's a whole lot we can say. All I'm going to say is I love my son and I love my daughter. Outside all that in between stuff, we're not going to do it. We're not going there.
But man, hey, that's a perfect segue to Coach K. On you, Coach.
See, Coach? Come on, Coach.
First off, Coach Gray, you're not just anything. You are Kenny. You are Kenny who's out here conquering the world, Dr. Coach Gray. So listen, I have a couple of questions for you, but the first one I will ask, just how you just mentioned about your brother not necessarily wanting you to follow in his footsteps, but he put you out there to pave your own way, right?
Yeah.
How have you done that for your son?
Well, for my son, it's a thing that I have learned about people. And then when you have your son and your daughter, you look at what their interests are and their insight. Okay, so what they do is they learn from us, me and my ex-wife, their mom. So therefore, when they watch me, do they want to be me? So therefore, the first thing to do was not to give him my name. That's a high bar to be a junior and then have to follow my footsteps. So we gave him his own name to let him be himself. There was some things in between where I wasn't able to be present in his life like I wanted to be personally. Okay, and there was a gap. But today, the man that he is, he's with me as often as I can, have him with me. We were like this from day one. With the little break, some things got off, but at the same time, we're still reinventing ourselves. We're still growing. I'm still watching. He's watching me. So it's still a timing thing. only because there was these breaks. So leading up to the first 14 years, oh my God, it was a bond beyond, And
I
then
love
once, yeah, then the high school years, there was a real gap where there was no involvement there. And then now that he's 21 years old, 27, we're doing our thing. We talk. I haven't met my events. I'm telling him, what I'm building is his and my daughter's and so on. So, but again, they're not sports related. He's not he's a techie guy. He's a, he's one of these kids that he loves that internet, and I just don't get down with that.
I can relate. So listen,
Yeah.
buckle up, because I'm getting ready to interrogate you just a tad. But I love how you started out saying that you watched him pretty much, and
Yep.
you wanted to nurture what was inside of him, the gift that was inside of him. So that's very similar to how I raised my son, because I didn't want to raise him with me living vicariously through his life. I wanted to see who he was about. And
Yes.
I wanted to nurture, bring out what I saw in him, because I wanted him to become his own person. So I
Yes.
love that you did that for your son, because oftentimes as parents, we want to throw our kids into things just for the sake of having it be a part of their lives, or mapping out who we think they should be, and we don't
Yeah.
allow them to be themselves. And so
Yeah.
what happens is there's a bit of resentment, growing up, because they grow up wanting to please you.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, we don't want to raise them to be people pleasers. We want to raise them in their own identity, knowing
Absolutely.
who they are, going out,
Yeah.
as you said earlier, and conquering the world.
Yeah.
Right? So the bottom line is, our job is to raise them to be productive citizens. And
That's right.
and that's what you did. I love the fact that you honed in on what he was interested in, no pushback, and you just with that. But
Yeah.
okay, so I have a couple of more questions for you that I had to write down so I wouldn't forget, Coach Gray.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you, pardon me, involved a lot in the community. So
Mhm.
based on prior conversation, what specific leadership principles or coaching philosophies do you believe contributes most to transformation? Okay.
Mhm.
And how have you adopted them into your personal and professional roles?
Now, are we talking the young people that I'm involved in, or just in general with anyone
In
that
with
comes?
one that comes
Yeah.
to mind. Yeah. So
Yeah.
what contributes most to the transformation in their lives? So you kind of touch bases on it a little bit and speaking about your son.
Hmm. Well,
But
the first thing is respect, self-respect. For me, I believe go further than anything. Then, if I can give respect, and I expect it the same
Mhm.
way, I think the biggest transformation that I've seen with people is meeting them where they are and dealing with people, because everybody's different. Everybody has a different walk. Everybody has a different perspective and way of life. And
Absolutely.
for me to uh, tell them, well, do what I say, and not listen to them is a problem. Well, that's a dictator. Now, we know
Hmm.
what a dictator is. We had one called mother and father. We grew up with a dictator. But when you're
Hmm.
trying to get folks to interact with you without having that dictatorship, you want to have that self of understanding that we are all in this thing together, and no one's bigger than the program or the team.
Come on, Coach Gray.
Right?
Come on. Bring it home. Bring it home.
So, so what happens is, you tell me what you want. My job is to help cultivate your talent and your friendship and manhood or your womanhood if I can, or we make each other better, right? That's what Emma, and that's what Mike was to me. I take these tactics and these things from Mike, Emma, and my mother and my brother. So it's very simple for me because someone's already shown me something, and now I can take and decide where do I fit in with with my mindset, with my beliefs, and ultimately is this. I go back to the first thing is respect, because if you disrespect me, I'm out. If I disrespect you, you should be out. So I'm not feeding any negativity. I'm going to feed the positivity. So there's this thing about what's stronger. There was this story about a young lady went to a Native American chief because the wolf is the Native American symbol, the wolf, and he said there's two types of wolves. Two types of wolves. There's a good wolf and a bad wolf. And the lady asked, well, which one is stronger? I said, depends on which one you feed the most. Okay. So if I'm feeding the negativity, it's going to be bigger than the one that's good. So my job is to manifest positive energy all the time, no matter what I do, even when I'm in a situation where I don't know what's going to happen because my faith is stronger. So if I can always have a smile on my face and show that hope is always going to outweigh the worry, that's what I show. That's what I do. That's the best transformational thing I can give anyone, is to say, don't ever quit. Don't ever quit.
So first off, Coach Gray, I need you to stop telling my story. That's you sound like
I think it's God's story.
Listen, because I love it. I'm gonna kick it back over to Amon in a minute. But I love the fact, because this is one of the things that I often tell people as well. I don't always have to agree with your world, because we all are individual worlds. But what I do want to do is meet you at your human capacity.
Yes. Yes.
I want to meet you there as a human being first. And once we get there, we get to learn more about the person and how they adopt their ideologies, the way they process information, and what makes them them. I don't have to agree with your opinions. I don't have to agree with your viewpoints of the world. I just want to meet you in your world. And I think the more we do that, the more we'll have, I don't like tolerance, but the more we'll be able to nurture relationships with human beings, seeing them simply as such, as human beings.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to kick it back over to you in just a second. I got one more interrogatory question for you. So bear with me a second. The next one is, what have you found most effective in building a culture of accountability, right? And motivational, and how does that compare to motivating athletes and people with whom you just come in contact with on a daily basis? Does that make sense?
That's simple. Keeping your word. You got to be the example of what you're trying to teach. If I tell you you got to study and I don't study, come on now. I got to be the first example of telling my son, my daughter, what it's like to be a man or a woman, in the sense of being an adult. Because I can't tell a woman how to be a woman, but I can tell her that you're an adult. And because you're an adult, this is what we're doing. We're taking the kid stuff and we're throwing it out the window. And now I'm gonna talk to you differently. Because when I told my daughter, I can't wait for you to turn 18, and she always was bewildered by why. I said, because I'm going to speak to you differently at 18.
Language changes.
It's a change. So it goes back to your first statement. And your first statement was, there wasn't a question to me, but the answer is acceptance. We have to accept people for who they are and when and for the things that they believe. Now, I ain't got to like it. I ain't got to agree with it. But I have to accept them for who they are.
Exactly.
And therefore, I can decide if I want to dance with the devil or walk out that door. Because the devil's going to be the devil. right?
Exactly.
And therefore, I tell my nieces and nephews, hey, 12 o'clock, you witch an hour, make sure you leave before the devil comes, because he's coming. He's on his way.
You
Right?
best believe.
He's on his way.
Wait a minute,
He's
he's already there. Look, we've got to
he's
teach him how to
consistent.
recognize his presence. He's consistent.
That part. And so that comes with my example. If you see me walking out the door, and I always told my son and my daughter, you're old enough now to go to the bars and the places I go. If I see you walking in, I'm walking out. If I walk in and you're in there, I'm walking out. You can stay, but I am not going to have you with me, because this is your time, and we ain't hanging out, unless if we go to dinner. But if we ain't come together, I'm leaving. I'm gone. So, and I think that's just the thing of respect of space, self, and being an adult.
That's awesome. I really love that. That's some profound wisdom right there for a lot of everybody. Yeah. So I'm gonna get back over to you, Mr. Wallace.
You love it, Coach K.
And
that's Curtis Spencer. Now you know, if you know Curtis Spencer, that's Curtis Spencer. So that's my dude.
I don't want to hear nothing about Robin Wood on my show. This is Spawn Road show. Okay.
Okay.
Hey, look, you, the owner of 2 successful organizations. First of all, what in the world is dominant force? What is that?
Well, it's dominant force is simple, really. As a kid, I grew up hearing about this guy. I never got a chance to meet. His name was Kevin Slade. I've heard people talk to me about this guy named Kevin Slade.
Stop right there. Stop right there.
Stop it.
Hey, now you know where he's from, right?
I've learned some things about Kevin Slade. Trust me.
May he rest in peace.
Absolutely. Listen, I was at the Stanton Center. They did a thing. Aubrey invited me down, and I didn't know anything. I knew Applejack. I knew of Barry Booth. I knew of Henry Downs. I knew Zeke Owens. When we talk about dominant force, we talk about Michael Jordan. We talk about Muhammad Ali. We talk about folks who, when you walk on the court or in a ring, there's something about that expectation of I'm already lost, or you about to lose. So when we talk about the dominant force is this, the way I played my sports, I played to win. You had to be better to beat me, and then if you were better, I made a friend. Okay, I made a friend. So the thing about it was I was always looking for in the next level. Now, what if I was topped out and I was the best? Well, I didn't put anyone down. But they had an eye view of what a dominant force looked like. So when I created the company Dominant Force, give me the best of you. No matter who you are and what you do, bring your best every day, or every day if you down the street, right? So a lot of times we do not live up to our full potential. So when I created the logo of Dominant Force, I told the lady, I said, I want you to create the logo, but I don't want it normal. I don't want it something that, no, I want people to look at it and say, what is it? And I'll say, you define it. What is your dominant force? Who are you, and how do you see yourself, and how you see the logo in that? I know what I see. So I'm always trying to bring that dominant force out of everyone who crosses my path. Period.
I'm just going to be applauding all night long. Love that.
That's powerful. That's very powerful. But you mentioned Kevin Slade. What were you about to say?
Well, he was a dominant force because I didn't meet this man. I didn't get a chance to meet this guy. But when everybody in the community telling me and saying who Kevin Slade was, like talking about Jack Johnson, the boxer. I never met Jack Johnson, the boxer, but he was the baddest heavyweight, knocking people out, doing it, going against the grain. They said you can't date white women. He didn't just date them; he married them. That is a dominant force.
Absolutely.
So that's the thing about when you call what's the dominant force or who's the dominant force. It's when folks can stand the test of time, and you know their name, and you probably have never met them before. That's a dominant force. Now, how do I really go to a natural disaster? The baddest natural disaster I've ever seen is a hurricane. They have two elements, water and wind. Water is the softest material on earth, but together, collectively, it can change and wipe out what you built. It makes you run to higher ground. How does that element in which we operate each day can now become such a dominant force? Well, it's about unity. It's about working together as a force, and that's the dominant side. So we all have it in us. We just got to find out what is it. It could be in reading, writing, basketball, fixing cars. Find that dominant force in you to be the best that you can possibly be. That's why company is dominant force.
So are you a motivational speaker too?
I'm whatever God wants me to be, man.
Hey,
because half the stuff, I'll be honest with you, half the stuff that I'm doing, I did not want to do.
Yeah.
Someone had to tell me things. Now, Jeffrey Brooks, I met Jeffrey Brooks years ago, and I keep telling Jeffrey Brooks, I'm responsible for your wife, son. I said, because without me, you would have never met her, son. So those type of things. So the experiences is, I can tell the stories now because the experiences, the things, the effects, it's just, and now as a coach, I'm used to having things like a jigsaw puzzle, and I can take those pieces and now make the puzzle into the actual final piece of that puzzle. But it's whatever God wants, man. I don't claim to be anything but Kenny Gray. Chestnut.
Okay. So then before I pass it back to Coach K, talk a little bit about what is Graystone Fitness?
Yes, that's my personal. I'm a personal trainer. That's my personal training company. I've been a trainer for about 30 years. I've been a director of fitness in about 6 or 7 gyms, Edgewater, World's Gym. I've been all over the place. LA Fitness. It's just something that I love. It's just something I love to do.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So we're getting close to we have probably 25 or 20 minutes left. We're gonna speed it along a little bit. I'm gonna pass it back to Coach, and we're gonna talk about some of your awards. We're gonna talk about your coaching, where you're coaching at now, and we're gonna talk about I can say the Commanders are going through a chaotic period right now where play the quarterback shouldn't have been in the game, a franchise quarterback. So how do you handle chaos? We're going to talk about how do you handle a chaotic experience. Is that okay?
Oh yeah, whenever you want to throw that at me, yes, that's fine.
My man. Coach K, what you got?
So first off, Coach Gray, let me say you truly came to serve tonight. You definitely understood the assignment. You said you do whatever God wants you to do or whatever He has you to do. Well, let me tell you this. He sent you to serve tonight because you brought along with you a plethora of wisdom, and I love it. And I want to go back to something you mentioned just a few minutes ago about a puzzle, which is something that I often remind my clients is your life is essentially like a puzzle. And so you don't want to discard any of the pieces because each piece plays an intricate part in your life. Because once you begin to mold it and put that puzzle together, they create some of the most beautiful pictures.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you throw away a piece, together for you.
It's not
And
complete.
that's what clients, it's not complete. So
Right.
don't discard any of the things that happen to you or happen through you. Because I also like to say, and tell me your thoughts on this. I also like to remind people, including myself, that things do not happen to you. They happen through you.
Through you.
And I
Absolutely.
often have to remind myself of
Absolutely.
that. And so
Absolutely.
when we say that things happen to us, it quickly puts us in the victim mindset. And then we begin to respond as such. So it goes
Mm-hmm.
back to what you were talking about earlier, how when we put something to death, we don't want to keep speaking life into that thing. When you talked about the
Right.
two wolves, right? So we don't want to
Right.
keep speaking
Right.
life. We don't want to keep talking about,
Yeah.
sometimes, I may get a phone call. Somebody may know I've been going through some things. How you feeling today? Oh, I'm good. I'm pushing my way through. I don't want to keep bringing up what I'm going through because I'm trying to
Mm-hmm.
kill it. I'm not trying to continue to give it life. So
Right.
yeah, so I love that.
Yeah. Well, the puzzle piece, and I'm again being 60. When I used to go to visit certain, when my mother used to take us to different places, different homes, there was always this room set aside where nobody could go into. And on the table, these puzzle pieces on this table, I'm trying to figure out why all these puzzle pieces in there. But it goes back to your point. I didn't get to where I'm at by myself.
Mm-hmm.
What people would do is visit the house and take a piece of the puzzle and put it on there and help them with the completion of that puzzle. So therefore, the puzzle
Absolutely.
wasn't always completed by the people in that house. It was probably completed by friends and family and so on. And that's who we are. We're just a piece of God's puzzle of life getting along. Am I my brother's keeper? Right? It matters. Yeah. So my uncle said something to me. He said, "Listen, there was a guy, car broke down, and the guy asked him for $500, and he said, okay." Gave him the $500, but his friend said, "Hey man, why would you give him $500? What if he's lying to you?" He said, "Listen, it could be my test from God, because God can
Mm-hmm.
handle him. God can handle him. But what if I lose my test, right?" So
There you go.
I had the 500, so therefore I'm not worried about the 500, right? The problem would
Mm-hmm.
be if you didn't have the 500. Those things we have to understand is this: we're not going to do this alone. We are not
Ooh.
going to get where we want to be by ourselves. Someone has helped us get here. So therefore, that's that piece of the puzzle. So the completion part is mental health. How how much are we not talking about mental health? Oh, I'm good with a
Mm,
smile on my face. No, I'm not.
mm,
I'm just not telling
mm.
you I'm not good. God knows. And so that therefore,
Ooh.
we all go through it. We all got something we go through. So yeah, look,
You stirring me. You stirring me up right now, Coach Gray. I'm
well,
really stirred.
I have to pump my brakes a little bit. I said, no, we only got 15 more minutes, so you know.
Listen, I was getting stirred. I was like, okay, I gotta wait. Because listen, let me tell you, when you were speaking
Yeah.
on that puzzle wasn't completed,
Mhm.
you didn't complete the puzzle by yourself, immediately I thought of, and one of the things, again, I need you to stop telling my life story. That's my story to tell. And I need you to stop reading my mind as well. But going back to that puzzle, it just brought me to the fact that we were never created to do life alone. Never,
Alone.
ever. Never.
Absolutely.
So, and I'm going to turn it back over to Amon so that you can speak on how you handle chaos. But
Yeah.
with me for a moment as I put this together. So we hear people say, if you're going through something, how can you coach others?
Hmm.
It's very easy for me, even when I don't have to have everything in my life together in order to coach someone else. It
Yeah.
doesn't mean that I don't qualify for the job. That's like you saying, I'm a surgeon, right?
Hmm.
And I'm getting ready to perform back surgery.
Right.
I'm capable of doing that job, but I'm incapable of performing my own back surgery. So while I'm covering this person's back by correcting the issue in surgery, I need you to cover my back. So
Sure.
that's how I'm able to coach someone else without having everything in my life together. Because
Sure.
doctors need doctors, coaches need
Oh,
coaches,
absolutely.
all
Yeah.
need each other. And that's how
Absolutely.
it kind of goes back to what you were saying earlier. If you competed against someone who was better than you, then you made a friend.
I
One of
made a
my
friend.
philosophies is, listen, I don't want to be the smartest person in my circle because I will never grow
That's right.
in that capacity.
That's right. Or you'll be limited in your
I will
growth,
be
and
in
you
my
don't want
growth.
to. Right. So the thing about it is there's certain things that only grow but so tall, and then there's things that's everlasting. Right. I'm 60. I've been blessed to get here. Well, when my mother couldn't walk, and I said, "Well, we got to get out of this house." She said, "Well, how am I going to get out of here?" I said, "I just want you to wrap your hand around my neck as tight as you can, and I'm going." She said, "You can't pick me up." I said, "When you carried me when I couldn't walk, now it's my time to carry you that you can't walk."
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
it's just one of those things where you just have to be capable. The chaotic part is like, if we're talking about how we do, and I maybe jump a little bit. Well, there are boundaries. Well, like when I'm
Mhm.
coaching, please don't take my football to your home, and don't bring your home to my football field. If we can
Mhm.
learn to separate and respect boundaries, then we're not so chaotic. Well, I didn't make the grade, coach. I got my girlfriend on I got my mother on whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on. Big picture here. This is football. Okay? Well, we will find time to deal with those things after practice. So you have to be a great leader, a great delegator, and a great listener at the
Mhm.
same time whenever you're trying to get through chaos. Because clearly, chaos is a thing. It's a thing. If you don't know how to deal with that thing, it becomes a monster, right? So it's just being just seeing Mike and Emma and Terry and my mother go through this before I went through it. I was able to draw from some of the things that I could say. What would Terry do? What would Mike do? What would Emma do? You know, what would Jesus do? Those are the things that we always ask. Well, if you don't have that fortitude, you don't have that patience, it'd be tough. It'd be tough.
That's good, brother.
Love it.
That's
Love, love. That's very good. Powerful.
so.
Hmm.
Powerful
Now,
stuff. True.
my brother, you received two presidential lifetime volunteer achievement,
Yeah,
two different presidents.
yeah.
So, what was it like, bruh?
Man, let me tell you something. Well, the first time I get this phone call um, from Atlanta, and this lady was an ambassador from Barack Obama, who was the um, point person from it's a thing called Points of Life in the White House. George Bush, when 9/11 happened, when he used, well, Clinton started it, but George Bush used it to give out to veterans for their work in the community. It's the highest civilian award that you can receive from a sitting president for doing work in the community. Okay, so when I got the phone call, I was like, "What are you calling me for? I don't know what you're talking about." So they said you have to come to Atlanta. I said, "For what?" Well, there's this award, and I'm sitting there thinking, I don't know what you're talking about. And I did my research. I called people. I'm thinking, what is this thing? Is it real? So I drive to Atlanta. I get to the rotunda, Atlanta, um, uh, you know, City Hall. I see the gold dome. I still didn't believe anything until I walked into the rotunda, and I saw all these people from around the world congregating, and I'm sitting there thinking, what is this for real? And when they broke that thing down to me about why I received it, why everyone's receiving it, what the prestigious award. I mean, this award forever will be in the White House with my name on it, Obama and Biden, for
Yeah,
the work that I've been doing in the community, just helping people. right? There's so many people who don't get this award, but I'm authorized to nominate anybody that I see in the community for this award. So we just did one in the last one we just did was NFL players at Howard University in August. So I was able to nominate Doug Williams or present Doug Williams with a medal. I was able to Priest Holmes, a lot of the NFL player PA guys. It was crazy, but I still didn't believe that I was receiving this thing from a sitting president that I would do all day long for free. Now, the second one, I figured, hey, why are you giving me the second one? I've already had one, and it's just how people continue to bless you for the works that you do, so it's
so you,
I just it's a thing, man. It's just a thing.
It's awesome, man. So now you've received several achievements and accolades: Coach of the Year, Baltimore Ravens Coach of the Year, Calvary Gazette. We know how prestigious the presidential award, but tell me, which one means the most to you, bro?
The one that really meant the most. Well, you have to understand the story. Yeah, you have to understand. Say it again.
Yeah, the one that really meant the most, bro. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, you got to know the story, and I have to set it up this way. In 1994, I get a phone call from the Rundle coach asking me, was I ready to do high school football? I said, can I say this? Hell no. And if I can't say it, I just said it. I said, hell no. I'm not ready. I'm not interested. You got the wrong person. But then he said something. He said, well, that's not what was told to me. I said, what was told to you? He said, I was told that you were going to be the best high school football coach in the state of Maryland one day. I was like, come on, man. You got to be kidding me. I don't have no desire. So setting up the numbers, 1988, my head coach at Meade passed away, but I graduated in 83. 94, I get a phone call to ask me, am I ready to coach some football? I said, no, but I tried. I did try. In 2001, I was the best high school football coach in the state of Maryland in 4A. So the one that meant the most to me of all of these is when somebody saw something in me and it became true, manifest, because I didn't believe it. That coach of the year is the one that means more to me than any of them, because somebody knew I was going to get that. Even when I didn't have a clue, someone saw that in me. And that's why today, when I see something in somebody, I'm making sure they hear what I know.
That's good. That's good. Yeah. And you were referring to great Jerry Mears, right?
Jerry Mears, absolutely. Jerry Mears. And the thing about Jerry Mears and your coach, Al Larimore, those two were probably the most respected. I think Big Al had more respect than anybody in the county, but Jerry competed against the best. And he just wanted to beat the best, and that was his drive. And that's how I feel each and every day. I just want to beat the best. I want to beat the best.
That's good. Mm-hmm. So you and I we spoke earlier about head coaching position. It was just told to me early when I said that you may take over North County. I understand that coach lost the players there. How do you handle a situation when something like that happens?
Now, you broke up just a little bit. Could you repeat it again?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. I understand that the coach in North County has lost the players, the locker room and everything. Mm-hmm. How do you handle a situation when it's like that?
Well, I'm part of it. I'm on the staff. So therefore, I have an eyewitness. I can see it as it goes. Okay. Now, Coach and I are head coaches. I'm not the active head coach, but I've been a head coach. So when we speak, I only give him my advice according to what I believe. So what I don't do is cross my boundary. The question is, Coach, what are you going to do? Okay, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
I told you what we think. We coaches give you advice, but you got the last say. You ain't got to listen to me. This is your program. But here's the thing.
Absolutely.
Here's the thing. These kids are expecting us to be experts, to know our you know what. And when they feel like that they can get away with things and with no repercussion, there's issue. That's how you lose a locker room or a team, because the standard that you put down, you cannot erase, and you cannot. It's like live by the sword, die by the sword, and that's the bottom line. That sword cannot waver, it cannot crack, it cannot move. It has to be as still as your belief, because that's your team, and that's what I've made it clear to Coach. As a coach consultant, that's what I did. I gave him my opinion and my response, and that's it. So I'm a witness, and I'm part of the process. I'm part of that.
Gotcha. And you know, Coach K, that's pretty powerful. You know, and Coach Gray just may be family. You know, he may be
I
think.
Yes. We're about to rock the world.
That's why Emma Watkins said what she did to me earlier tonight. See,
that's right. That's right.
Yeah,
we about to shake up things.
I'm glad that you came on. You accepted the invitation to come on the show.
Pleasure.
Coach, you know what? You deserve the flowers, and you are definitely legendary. And you know what? I'm gonna tell you something. Just listening to you, and then I have someone there that's getting ready to start her show. The Key Corner on the Legend from the Past and umbrella. Mm-hmm. You know, you two may make a pretty formidable team.
Man.
You know, I don't know how much.
I'm feeling that vibe.
How do you have that?
I'm feeling that.
You know, that could make Monday nights or Thursday nights very powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let me give you also a little background. I've had my own podcast for about 10 years. I've done a lot of this stuff for 10 years, and the very first time someone asked me, "Have you ever done radio podcast?" I said, "Man, I don't do that stuff." Remember, most of the things that I do, I don't want to do. Right? I told you I'm only doing what God wants me to do. So we'll chat. Hey. We can talk about it. So I got something brewing. Yeah, I have something going on right now. I'll fill you in later, but let's talk.
Oh, cool. Good answer. I love that. Good answer.
Saw that, right?
Oh, I see the name. I'm thinking, oh, God.
I see that name too.
He's all right.
Oh, gosh.
Hey, Coach. Hey, look, we're gonna let you say something influential, something positive that may shake someone up that has a desire to want to follow your footsteps, be a coach, be a motivational speaker. You know, something that could shake this motivational speaker up on this board right here tonight, Coach K. You know,
what I'll say.
The floor is yours.
What I will say is this. This is the truth. I didn't want to do none of this stuff, but I never said no to any of this stuff. I did say I don't want to, because when we grow up, when your mother tell you to take out the trash, you don't want to. When your mother tell you to wash the dishes, you don't want to. When you tell you to go to bed, you don't want to. But that doesn't mean I didn't say no, right? If I told my mother no, it would have been a different ball game with my mother and me, right? In a different. I probably wouldn't be on this podcast. What I would say to everyone: listen, don't ever say no to something, because when God gives something to your mind and your heart, He's talking directly to you. And all I would say is go to what the advice my mother gave me. Just try. That's it.
There you go.
You try.
And
but
take 30 seconds and say, oh, I'm sorry.
Just try, because when you know something is bad, listen to your conscience and stay away from it. But if it feels good, go ahead and do it. And just try. I'm just gonna give you the advice my mother gave me. I live by it by at 60 years old. I'm still trying. I'm still going, and God's still talking to me.
Amen. Amen. Well, there you have it. There you have it. Coach Gray. So we're gonna leave it right there. I can't top that. I can't. Hey, Coach K. We're not gonna let Coach K attempt to top that, even though we know she probably could try. But we're gonna leave it right there. Come back next week to another exciting show. Exciting guests next week on the Legend from the Past and Future Stuff. Peace. Peace out.